Good morning, students. Today we are going to start the new lesson, that is heredity and evolution. In the chapter how the organisms reproduce, you have observed that there are the two types of reproduction, asexual and sexual reproduction. And you have also studied that organisms produced in the asexual reproduction they are similar to their parental type, means there is no any type of the differences in the offsprings, no variation. And in sexual reproduction, organisms which are produced, they are different from each other. If any parent having the number of offsprings, they are not exactly similar. So you are finding that the differences in the offsprings of sexually produced organisms, and there is no variation in case of asexual reproduction. Now in this lesson, heredity and evolution, we will study first what is heredity. The heredity is the branch of genetics, that is part of genetics, that simply you can say branch of the science, basically the genetics. Of transferring of the character from parents to the offspring. So heredity is simply the process of transfer of character from parents to their offsprings. So heredity, it is the branch of the science, basically the genetics, in which we study the process of transfer of characters from parents to their offsprings. The genetics. Now this genetics deals with the study of both heredity and variation. Genetics deals with the study of heredity and variation both. Variation means, as you are observing, that the offsprings of the same parent of same parents they are resembling with the parents, but they are not exact copy of their parents. Some differences are there. Some differences are present. So the difference in the offsprings, that is called variation. Variation, they are of two types. Somatic variation and germ cell variations. somatic variation that is not inherited from parents to the offsprings. Somatic variation means the physical variation. Somatic, first difference, clear the difference between the somatic and reproductive. Somatic means which somatic cells which do not involve in the process of reproduction, sexual reproduction. Germ cells germ cells include the gametes. Male and female. If any type of variation occurs in the gametes, then it resulted in the variation in the offsprings. Means the reproductive cell or germ cell variation, that variation is inherited from parents to the offsprings. And any type of variation, for example, any person having the good muscle, this character, this trait is restricted to that individual and will last by the death of the individual. So somatic variation lasts by the death of the individual, but the reproductive variations that is inherited from parents to offsprings. Now, variation plays significant role. Importance of variation. Plays significant role in evolution and selection. It also plays important role in developing the adaptability and individuality, maintain individuality. The variation, accumulation of the small variations that play significant role in the evolution of new species. Adaptability means the slight variation or the differences in the organism make them able to adapt with the change environmental condition. Change environment. So these are the importance of variation that play significant role in evolution and selection. Adaptability and maintain the individuality. The trait or characters, they are of the two types. One is acquired trait and inherited trait. Inherited trait. Trait means characters, and acquired trait. Inherited trait, the traits which are inherited from parents to the offsprings, means any type of the character which was present in the parents and the character it is inherited to the offsprings, that is called inherited trait. Acquired trait, that this is the character or the trait which is acquired by his own experience, and this acquired trait is not inherited from parents to offsprings. It is not inherited from parents to offsprings. For example, the experiences which one is achieved during the lifespan by any individual, and that experience is lost by the death of that individual, it is not necessary that this trait will be inherited from parents to the offsprings. For example, I am taking one example, that is, suppose that by the effort and effort the any individual achieved a post, suppose that DM. It is not necessary that offsprings of this person, all will be DM. So this is acquired trait. There are the number of characters which one is achieved after the birth, during the lifetime. Such type of the trait or character is called acquired trait. Inherited trait. Some example I am taking, like the ear lobe, rolling of tongue, that is the inherited trait. Now, rules for the inheritance of trait. Inheritance of trait. Before taking the rules, come and see the experiment and result given by Mendel. He is known as father of genetics. Gregor John Mendel performed the number of experiments by selecting the garden pea, that is scientific name Pisum sativum. This experimental organism is taken because the garden pea can be cultivated throughout the year, can be cultivated throughout year. They having the different type of contrasting traits. Contrasting trait, and the contrasting traits, the 7 pair of contrasting traits were selected, are present in the Pisum or the garden pea. Here we will take only 2-3 characteristics contrasting trait for the explanation. The contrasting trait, first one is height of the plant. It may be tall or dwarf. Color of pod may be green or yellow. Color of flower violet you can take red also, red and white. Color of seed, yellow, green. One more I am taking shape of the seed, that is round and wrinkled. So contrasting trait means the opposite trait. As we have taken 5 pairs of contrasting traits, that is height of the plant, it may be tall or dwarf. The color of pod, that is green or yellow. Color of flower, violet, red or white. Color of seed, yellow and green. Shape of the seed, round and wrinkled. Mendel performed the experiment by taking the pair of contrasting traits. Before taking the Mendel experiments, I am taking some terminology will be used for the explaining the Mendel's experiment. So these are, first one is allele, that is alternative form of gene. That is also taken as factor. For example, the height of the plant, the allele which one is responsible for this trait, that is T or small t. So this capital T and small t, it is the allele for the height of the plant. So allele, alternative form, they are in the two form, in the capital T and small t. So this capital T and small t, these are the allele for expressing the trait, that is the height of the plant. The next one is gene. You are familiar with DNA. This is the structure of DNA. This DNA, suppose that from here to here, these are the fragments of DNA. This one is responsible for, this fragment is responsible for color of seed. This one is responsible for the expression of height of the plant. And this for other trait. So here you are finding gene is the fragment of DNA. That one is responsible for the expression of at least one trait, that is color of the seed. That fragment of DNA is called gene. So this one is the gene, fragment of DNA responsible for the expression of at least one trait or character, that is called gene. Now the next one is homozygous. At the same time, I am taking heterozygous. Homozygous, when the allele, similar type of allele they are present. For example, capital T, same type of the allele is present. Small t, that is same type of the allele. Chromosomes, they are present in the form of in the pair form. So allele Here it is taken in the paired form. So capital T, small t, they are homozygous. Similar type of the allele present, that is homozygous. And when the different type of alleles are present, like capital T, small t, then it is called heterozygous. The next one is monohybrid cross. Monohybrid cross. Monohybrid cross, this is the type of the cross where the parents, they are differing in a single pair of contrasting traits. For example, when one trait, one character it is taken in the parental type, tall is crossed with the dwarf. So the organisms which will be offsprings which will be produced, that will be, this one will be the tall. Later on I will take why it is tall. It is called monohybrid. So monohybrid cross is when the cross is performed between the parents differing in pair of contrasting trait, that is called monohybrid cross, and the offsprings, they are called monohybrid. Next is dihybrid cross. Dihybrid cross means parents differing when the two characters, they are taken in each parent. For example, tall plant with round seeds and round seed. Is crossed with dwarf plant, dwarf and wrinkled. So you are finding here parents, instead of one, they are differing with the two pair of contrasting traits, tall, dwarf, round and wrinkled. This type of, when the cross is performed, where the parents, they are differing in the two pair of contrasting traits, they are called dihybrid cross. And the offsprings which are produced, they are called dihybrids. Now, F1 and F2 generation. It is also called first filial generation. As we have taken tall is crossed with dwarf, what type of the offsprings they are observed, that will be tall, it is called F1 generation. F1 generation means first filial generation. So this offsprings, it is the first generation offsprings of this parental type. F2 generation means second filial generation if this offsprings, they are self-crossed. Whatever the organisms they are produced, offsprings are produced, they are F2 generation. Tall, dwarf, whatever the offsprings they are produced, that is called F2 generation. So F1 generation, F2 generation. Now come on, the Mendel's law. Mendel's performed the series of experiments by taking the pair of contrasting traits, and on the basis of the result obtained after the experiment, proposed the three laws. So first one is Mendel's law. The first one is law of dominance. Law of segregation. And law of independent assortment. The law of dominance states that when the parents they are differing in a pair of contrasting traits are crossed, first I am taking law of dominance, the first one, law of dominance. In this law states that when parents they are differing, for example, parents are tall and dwarf. When the parents they are differing in pair of contrasting traits are crossed, in F1 generation, only one type of offsprings were observed, that is tall. Now I am taking the same explanation by representing in the form of allele. Tall plant, it is having the capital T, and dwarf plant is small t. In the previous lesson already you have completed, at the time of gamete formation, the germ cells divide by the reductional division. So when gametes formation start, divide by the meiosis and produce gametes, means the factors alleles they are reduced to half, as you have completed in chromosomes reduced to half by the process of meiotic division. So similarly here the small t, these are the gametes, these are the parents. Parents are tall and dwarf. These are the gametes. Tall, this capital T, small t. After the fusion of these two gametes, join the two allele capital T, small t. The expression of this one is the tall. So as you are finding, parental type, there were two types, tall and dwarf, but the offsprings, whatever the number, it may be the many, but all the offsprings which are produced, they all are only one type. So you are finding that out of these two characters, one character is able to mask the expression of other character. So which one is masking? That is called dominant. And which one is not able to express itself in the generation, that is called recessive. So from this one, you are finding in the law of dominance, when the parents they are differing in a pair of contrasting traits are crossed, only one trait it is expressed in the generation, and the trait which one is expressed in generation, that is called dominant trait, and which one is not able to express, that is called recessive trait. And law is called law of dominance, or inheritance is called law of dominance. Now the next one is second law. Law of segregation. This law states, it is also called as purity of gametes. As you have observed, when the tall plant is crossed with dwarf plant, gametes are capital T and small t. After the fusion of gametes, capital T and small t, these are the F1 offsprings. When the F1 offsprings are self-crossed means F1 progeny I have taken here, male and female plants both are of having the same type, that is capital T and small t. This one is the male, capital T and small t. This one is female, capital T and small t. Hmm? When self cross is performed or self pollination is performed, it is also called as selfing of the F1 offsprings. Now, at the time of gamete formation, these two factors are allele segregate. That is, the two type of gametes they are produced, capital T and small t. Similarly here, the two type of gametes, capital T and small t. So, you are finding both the parental type, they are responsible for making the two different type of gametes. So, gametes, take this gamete. This gamete is completely pure for the tallness, and this one is pure for the dwarfness. So that is called purity of gametes. Gametes are always pure for a particular type of the trait, and also you are finding these two factors, two allele segregate at the time of gamete formation, and that is called law of segregation. The third law is law of independent assortment. That you will study in the heading how the trait get expressed in your NCERT book. So I am taking law of independent assortment. This law states that when the parents they are differing in more than two pair of contrasting traits, they are crossed, the trait they are inherited or asserted independently without interfering the expression of the others. Means, if the number of alleles, whether it is dominant or recessive, present together, but in next generation they asserted independently without interfering, without blocking the expression of other allele. Now I am taking the example. If tall plant, if you have taken tall plant with yellow seed is crossed with dwarf plant with green, will be better, yellow round seed. Dwarf plant with wrinkled seed. Now, the allele of the tallness is capital T, and with the round I am taking R. And here is small t, and wrinkled small r. Gametes are produced, that is one type of the gamete, capital T, capital R. And here is small t, small r. After the fusion of gametes, the offsprings, which one is produced in F1 generation, that is capital T, small t, capital R, small r. And it will be tall with round seeds, tall and round seeds. This one is F1 offsprings. So in F1 generation, you are finding capital T is dominant over the small t, so dominant character it is shown and tallness is expressed. Capital R is dominant over the small r, so here is roundness of the seed is expressed in the generation. So you are finding in F1 generation all the plants which are produced, they all are the tall plant with round seeds. When this one F1 offsprings, they are self-crossed. Before taking the cross, what do you mean by the cross? Cross between the tall plant and dwarf plant. The cross meaning, suppose that the tall plant is male plant containing the male reproductive organs, that is the stamen, produce the pollen grains. When the pollen grains of the male plant is transferred to the stigma of the female plant means stigma of this plant, that is called cross between the two plants. Now, when they are self-crossed, F1 progeny, so here the F1 progeny, both parental type having the same genetic makeup, that is called genotype. Capital T, small t, capital R, small r. This one is as male, and capital T, small t, capital R, small r as female plant. When they are crossed, in the F2 generation, you will find the different type of the ratio. So first we will take what are the different type of the possibility of gamete formation. Type of gametes produced by the male plant, that is capital T, capital R, capital T, capital R. This one capital T, small r, capital T, small r, small t, capital R, small t, capital R, and small t, small r, small t, small r. 4 type of gametes, they are produced by the male parent. Similarly, 4 type of the gametes will be produced by the female parent. Here will be the same. Capital T, capital R. Second type, capital T, small r. The third type, small t, capital R. The fourth type, small t, small r. Now, there are the 4 type of the gamete formation by both type of the parents, male and female. At the time of the fusion, this gamete can fuse either with this one, or this one. There are the different probability of the fusion. So I am taking all the probability. Here will be capital T, simply you have to add both. Capital T, capital R, capital R. Capital T, capital R, small r. Capital T, small t, capital R, capital R. This will be capital T, capital R, small r. Here capital T, capital R, small r. Capital T, small r, capital T, small t, capital R, small r. Capital letter always written first, then the small letter. Capital T, small r, small r. This one, capital T, small t, capital R, capital R. Capital T, small t, capital R, small r. Small t, capital R, capital R. Small t, capital R, small r. here will be in this column capital T, small t, capital R, small r, capital T, small r, small r. Here will be small t, capital R, small r, small t, small r, small r. So here you are finding this one is the genetic makeup. Genetic makeup means what type of the allele or the genes or the factors they are present in the offsprings of the F2 generation. Now, what will be expressed? What will be the appearance of the offsprings? Capital T, capital R. It will be tall and round. This will be tall and round. It will be also tall and round. I am writing tall and round. This one tall and round. This will be tall and round. Tall and wrinkled. This will be tall and round. This will be tall and wrinkled. Tall and round. Tall and round. Dwarf and round. Dwarf and round. Tall and round. Tall and wrinkled. Dwarf and round. Dwarf and wrinkled. So, different type of the phenotypic expression it is observed in F2 generation, that is tall and round. So I am taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I am removing this one. So tall and round, they are 9 in number. The next one is tall and wrinkled, they are 3 in number. Dwarf and round, that is also 3 in number. Dwarf and wrinkled, that is 1. So you are getting the ratio 9:3:3:1. It is also called Mendelian dihybrid ratio. This is phenotypic ratio. Phenotypic ratio of the Mendelian dihybrid cross is 9:3:3:1. Genotypic ratio, there are different type. It is complicated. So I am not taking here, and you have to not study the genotypic ratio of the F2 generation. Phenotype means, phenotype is the physical appearance. Phenotype you can express in the word like tall and round, tall and wrinkled, dwarf and round, dwarf and wrinkled. So in case of tall and round, you are finding the nine different type of the genetic makeup. For example, here the genetic makeup of this tall and round plant is all in capital letter. This one is also tall and round. T is in capital, R in the hybrid condition. but the expression of this one is tall and round. So it is called phenotype, physical appearance, which you can express in the word. And this you cannot express in the word. This one is also tall and round, but genetically it is different. So genetic makeup, genetic constitution of the plant, it is called genotype. So here you are finding, come on the previous condition, capital T, capital T, capital R, capital R. Here you are finding the capital T is associated with capital R. It is not necessary that during the process of inheritance, the capital T, it will be inherited with the capital R. As you are finding here, they are not inherited. That is called law of independent assortment. Means independently they are assorted. It is not necessary when they are associated with, like capital T associated with capital R, so it will be inherited with the capital R. T will be inherited with the capital R. It is not the condition. It can inherited with the small r, or capital R can be inherited with the small t. That is called law of independent assortment. Now, sex determination in human being. Sex determination. In human. As you are knowing, human being had 23 pairs of chromosomes. Pairs of chromosomes. And these 23 pair of chromosomes, they are of the two types, autosomes and sex chromosomes. Twenty-two pairs, they are autosomes, and one pair, that is sex chromosome. In case of male containing 22, these are the same 22 pairs of autosomes, and X and Y sex chromosome. This one is sex chromosome. Participate in determination of the sex, so that is called sex chromosome. And in case of female, that is 22 pairs autosomes plus X and X. So this one is the sex chromosome in case of female. Now, how the sex of the developing embryo is decided or determined? Start from here. Male, as we have taken 22 pairs autosomes plus X and Y sex chromosome. Female having 22 pairs autosomes plus X and X. At the time of gamete formation, again there is the reduction division. So here the chromosomes in the male gamete will be 22 autosomes plus either X chromosome or 22 autosomes plus Y chromosome. So the two type of gametes, they are produced by the male, and in case of female, sex chromosomes are the same. So one type of the gamete is produced, that containing 22 autosomes plus X chromosome. So one type of gamete is produced by the female, and two different type of gametes produced by the male. The fusion of this male gamete, when the male gamete, this male gamete fuses with the female gamete, then it will be achieved 22 pairs autosomes plus X and X sex chromosome. And if this gamete fuses with this female gamete, it will be 22 pairs autosomes plus X and Y. Presence of the Y sex chromosome, this zygote will develop into the male offsprings, male child. Male child, and this will develop into female child. So you are finding that the determination of the sex, it is at the time of the fusion of gametes. What type of male gamete it is contributed at the time of the fusion, that determine what type of the sex the zygote will develop. So this is all about this. Later the process of evolution we will start, or we will take in the next video. Thank you.